frogs on our planet are disappearing because largely from a fungus called chytrid fungus, Batrachochytridium mycosis, which is wiping out many of our planet's amphibians. And when you see these indicator species, like bees and bats and amphibians, animals that have been around forever, when you see these normally stable populations just crash and collapse, that tells us that there are great issues with our environment. And there have been a number of species we've highlighted. But then one time we filmed the black-footed ferret. This was a species that became extinct. And they discovered a small colony. And out of that small colony, we now have 2,000 black-footed ferret living in the wild. Yes? What are some steps that our government is making? You know, our government ebbs and flows back and forth on doing good things and doing less good things. But overall, we are very lucky as Americans. The modern system for conservation, the global system of conservation, is based on the American model. And, you know, the idea of establishing national parks and the Endangered Species Act and having policy regulate industry, having viable natural resource management strategies, taking people's access and rights to harvesting wildlife and having that scientifically monitored and managed to maintain healthy populations. All of this is uniquely our system. And we have blessed resources that we should be very proud of. How many national parks do you think are in the United States? I'm just talking national parks. I'm not talking wildlife refuges. I'm not taking state parks.
There's something like...
Not 1,000 now. You're going to make me answer say, whoa.
Something like 26.
392 national parks. Exactly. We have we have nearly 90 million protected acres, forever protected acres. That historically almost didn't happen. With that said, though, we have a lot we need to do. In the United States alone, we have over 900 species on the endangered species list today. And it's not about politics. I don't believe, you know, for every Republican that may not be a good conservationist, I can find you a Republican that is. For every Democrat who says he's for this, I'll find you someone else who's doing that. You can find great acts of conservation that President Obama has just done. I know Secretary Salazar, he's doing very important stuff about engaging youth to nature. Our youth are disconnected from nature. You know, you're usually never more than 20 miles from a national park. How many of you guys went to a national park this year? Yeah. Not a whole huge amount. And it belongs to all of us. But you can't appreciate what you don't know. And you can't protect what you don't appreciate, which is we're a part of that as well. Next question. Yes? Well, zoology is a term, mostly it's like a zoologist is a type of biologist. And some universities still maintain the zoology term. Many people have broken it off into wildlife biology or other classifications. But if you were to call me a zoologist, I would say that's a biologist. Being a zoologist doesn't necessarily connotate working in a zoo. But another question. Yes? What is my favorite animal? Oh, well, I like snakes a lot. I've always liked snakes. And I like... What is the most coolest critter? I think probably the neatest creature that I just love to see is like I don't know why, but like a three-toed sloth. It's just the neatest thing.
That.
And you're in the canopy of a rainforest and you're 100 feet up the forest floor and you just see one of these guys next to you. And you just think how amazing they are, these creatures. They're so slow, they only poop once every 2 weeks. And they get a lot of fiber. I mean, they're so unique. They're like their own ecosystems. Living in their fur is an algae which grows nowhere else. And living in the fur amongst the algae is a moth that eats the algae that's found nowhere else. I mean, they're just really, really cool. They taste great, too. I would eat a sloth. They wouldn't taste good, I don't think. The most dangerous, moment, most terrifying that I said, I need to get out of this, probably hour 19 of my wife's 29 hours of labor. I was like, look at yourself. Who did this to you?
Not a question you want to be asking in the middle of that.
And I remember, my wife was like, well, I really don't want any medication. And I'm like, really? Okay. Can I have it? And so, almost a whole day later, she's wielding in pain. And she made me promise that, I may lose my resolve, and if I do, tell them that I don't want anything. I went, okay. So the doctor finally comes in and is like, Natasha, what are you doing? You don't have to do this. You're not proving anything. This is not the Middle Ages. You don't have to actually expire. She's like, well, I don't know. It does really hurt. I don't know, Jeff, what do you think? Maybe I went, thank you, Dr. Poulin. We're both having this baby together, and we decided that we're not. So I went, knock her up. But seriously, and my wife, I'll never forget that. She was about to have the baby. She was finishing up her PhD. She was doing her oral examinations. She was 9 months pregnant. She's like, how am I going to do this? I got all these people. And they're going to be asking me questions, and my back hurts and everything. And I said, well, what you do is you bring in a warm water balloon. And if you don't like where that's going, you just throw that down between your legs, and they will get out of your way. But, truthfully, I have very few moments that have ever been really scary to me. I often tell people the scariest moments have been with people. If you were walking in a remote hill or country, wherever you are, in Tennessee or wherever you live, and you saw a coyote moving through the bushes near you, would you be scared? You might be a little scared. I think you'd be very scared. He looks like, you don't see a lot of scary. He's like, yep, that's me. I'm scared of coyotes. Well, if I saw a coyote, maybe if I had my pet dog with me or my little kid, I would be very concerned. And you should. But, what's the likelihood of him doing anything? But imagine that. You walk through the woods, you see a coyote go through the branches. Just you and the coyote. You'd be kind of scared. What would you do if you were all by yourself, walking in the middle of the woods, and you saw a person following you? That terrifies me. The idea that someone is following me in the bushes, because that person is up to no good and is probably going to kill you. And to me, being in an airplane that's about to crash, very scary. Being in a coup d'etat in Cambodia and actually seeing a Molotov cocktail get thrown at our vehicle, very scary. Being with bandits in Central Africa, in an area where they had just killed 14 people, and the bandits showed up again, to me, terrifying. And, when you have to, hide from a human being, I've had to actually hide from people that wanted to kill me. And it's scary. We were just in Kenya filming, and while we were there, a firefight broke out between poachers and rangers over these endangered black rhino, of which a rhino was killed, the poachers were killed, and one of the guards was killed. That was very scary to me. Yes, young man?
Are you afraid of monkeys?
I'm not afraid of monkeys. Everybody says that. I like monkeys. I just have a healthy respect for them. Monkeys are smart, and they can be mean. And I can tell you, give me a king cobra any day over a macaque that's been fed and is angry and lives by a temple in India. That to me is far more terrifying because he has no fear of you. And a king cobra, I can tell you everything a king cobra is going to do.
It's going to bite you.
No, he's not.
It's going to kill you.
But you see a macaque at you making an outbreak face. That's kind of scary. What do I what? I thought you said, do I believe in squash sex? I'm like, is that some internet thing? I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore.
You are, you better wash your hands.